All right, we have another amazing show today. Our guest right now is one of the most feared competitors in the squared circle. He has wrestled all over the world and has most recently spent time in NXT. He is part man, part beast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rhyno.
Well, thank you for that introduction, and very feared in the ring.
That's right. How you doing these days?
Good. Just, staying busy, very blessed, working hard, traveling a lot, so,
sure.
Life is good, but life is always good.
All right. Well, on September 19th, you will be appearing for CTWE for their event entitled The Force Awakens. As we mentioned, you were, your mainstay in NXT and could wrestle anywhere in the world that you want to. So what is it about CTWE that made you want to appear for their show?
Oh, the fans are great. The shows are great. And the competition is not only fierce, but it's top notch. So I look forward to going back there and mixing it up with some of their talent. So definitely excited for the 19th.
All right. Now, at that specific show, you'll be taking on another former WWE talent, Antonio the Promise Thomas. Have you ever faced him before?
No, never. But I'll do my homework and, just like, football teams and, they'll watch film and they'll study their opponent. And that's what you have to do in the wrestling world, too. You have to study your opponent, see what they do, see how to counter some of their moves and stuff like that. So it'll definitely be great, and it'll definitely be a lot of fun.
All right. Now, do you have a gore with his name on it?
Do I have a gore with his name on it? I have two.
All right.
I might get a little crazy at him with three. I've definitely. I know he's talented, so I may need two. So. But I'm coming with two gores with his name on it.
All right. With CTWE making its return to the world of independent wrestling, is it safe to say maybe Rhyno will become a regular in CTWE pretty soon?
For sure. It all depends on my schedule and as far as their schedule too, and hopefully whenever it does match up, you'll definitely. Look forward to seeing me at the shows.
All right. Now, speaking of the gore, there are several people who have used the gore or the spear throughout their career. With that being said, who do you think has the second best use of the move? Obviously, you being the first.
Charlotte.
Charlotte? Awesome.
Yeah. I see the way she spears or gores people, and it's like I would not want to be on the receiving end of that. But if I was, I'd kick out. But she's tough, man. She might kick out of the gore if I hit her with it.
All right.
But if she slaps me in the figure four, luckily my legs are pretty big, so I could probably withstand the figure four for about 30 to 40 seconds. Then I have to tap. So if I don't counter before 40 seconds, I'm done.
All right. The WWE Universe was rocked a night after SummerSlam when fellow ECW alumni, the Dudley Boys, made their highly anticipated return to Raw. What are your thoughts when you heard that they returned?
Well, they're talented. Probably one of the greatest tag teams ever to grace the ring. So it just makes sense. And I think, some of us are very blessed because we're kind of ageless in a way. If that makes any sense. I think Bubba and Devon, they're tough SOBs. So, they've it seems like they haven't aged, and especially their in-ring performance, it's just like it's still top notch. So, I think the fans are very excited about it. A lot of the wrestlers, because we're still fans, I think a lot of the wrestlers are excited about it. And, and it gives the tag team a great opportunity to work with veterans, in front of, the live events, in front of the TV audience, and in front of the pay-per-view audience too. So it's a no-brainer,
Sure, and with their return, do you think that's what's been lacking lately too? A lot of veterans in the locker room, because I mean, they really haven't had a surprise return to the main roster like that in quite a while, especially on Raw at least.
Well, it's a surprise. Well, it's a return of veterans to the locker room on a full-time schedule. Because that's very important. Because not only is it important to learn from the veterans in the ring, not only by watching them and not only by working with them in the ring, but by seeing how they act and conduct themselves outside of the ring. Because a lot of veterans, I mean, let's face it, it's just human life. You learn from your mistakes. Some people don't, but most of us do. And then the best thing to do is if you see a person that has made a mistake and that has learned from it, you can maybe prevent yourself from making a mistake. So I think that's the importance, of having a veteran on a full-time schedule, because you see how they travel, you see what they do and what they don't do, and you realize why they do certain things and don't do other things. So probably because they did some things and they ended up being mistakes and they've corrected themselves, and so I think that's the importance. And therefore you as a veteran become a leader.
Now, obviously, you've seen that the Dudleys.
Does that make any sense?
That absolutely does. The Dudleys have been thrust into the tag team scene against the New Day. And in my eyes, it only seems fair that the Dudleys are allowed a third member to keep it on the up and up. Any chance we'll get to see Rhyno and the Dudleys take on the New Day?
Oh, geez, I don't know. We've mixed it up. We've been on the same side, and we've looked at each other across the ring. So Dudley boys are tough, and you never know. Right now, I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I'm able to pass it on to the younger generation, whether it's in an independent locker room or an independent promotions locker room, or if it's in the NXT locker room. So I think it's one of those things where you get to pass that on, and and I enjoy doing that, and I enjoy going out there and and performing, and doing my best, and so.
All right. Now,
and ripping a few people in half with a door. The fans love to see that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, other than September the 19th for CTWE, what's next for Rhyno? What else do you have coming up that we can talk about?
A bunch of things. I'm definitely excited about, the NXT product, being part of that. I'm definitely excited about, I was just over in Scotland for ICW. And, it's just what a promotion, what a crowd. It's fun to be part of that too. I don't go overseas much. But when I do, I really enjoy myself. So it's one of those things, and, be able to talk to the fans, when you're, I enjoy, talking with the fans. I enjoy, seeing their input, and I enjoy watching when they're talking about wrestling, to see the passion that they have for it, and that's why I love doing what I do, because I have a passion for it, and see the passion that they have, for watching it, being part of it, as far as going to a live event or an independent, show. It definitely reinforces, my passion and the reason why I do it.
Sure, and Ryan, one last thing too is, you were part of the pro wrestling phenomenon in ECW. Do you see any comparisons between NXT and ECW as how the fans are taking it?
It's something different, I mean, both are different in their own ways, but in a way, NXT is, it's a lot of guys that maybe are starting out. In ECW, you have a lot of guys that were just starting out. NXT, you have a lot of guys that have been rejected in one way, shape, or form. and then they found a home there, So I always say the most dangerous person, is a person that has nothing else to lose, Sometimes, guys will go up to the main roster and it won't work out, and then they'll come back down, and that's a bit of a rejection, Yeah. And you don't know. I mean, maybe it just wasn't its time. Like in WWE in 1998, I went to a camp and I didn't get hired. I was rejected, but I knew I had something to offer. I had to, continue my learning process, and I still, to this day, I continue to learn. But, and I found a home in ECW, which gave me a lot of, I learned a lot there, and I gained a lot of notoriety through ECW. So, but it helped, continue my career and move it up, so. Yeah, I was very blessed to have that part of my life, and I think a lot of fans are blessed to have had that part of their lives. And with the network, new fans can go and be part of that. So,
well, we are so happy we got to speak with you today. We can't wait to see you again on September 19th for CTWE, The Force Awakens. You will be taking on Antonio the Promise Thomas. It's a great show. Tickets are available right now. There's other great talent there. JT Dunn, Johnny Gargano. The list goes on and on. So we can't wait.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a great show, and I will rip my opponent in half with a gore.
Well, for anybody,
I'm not gonna yell gore, gore, gore.
Okay.
We'll keep it civil.
For any fans that are listening to you today, what's the best way for them to keep up with you on social media?
Usually Facebook. I really don't post a lot, but it's TNA. There's a space and then RHINO.
Okay.
So I haven't changed the name, so and I don't because I don't know how to. A lot of my buddies and a lot of fans are going, shouldn't it be NXT Rhyno? And I haven't looked into how to change the name. So, but anyways, and then I don't want Facebook to go, this isn't a real name, and just boot me off altogether. So I've had a couple of people say, oh, I got booted off because they said it wasn't a real name. It was a name like, Tyson Dukes,
Yep.
So yeah, I think he got booted off because of that. They said it wasn't his real name, which it isn't, but like DUX sounds more of a name than TNA or Rhyno. But anyways, yeah, so if they want it, or Rhyno, RHYNO 313, that's on Twitter.
Okay.
It's a good place to follow me because there's a lot of WWE stuff I'll retweet, and it keeps you posted on the NXT and, and some of the matches and stuff. So it's definitely a good source for fans to get a hold of me or follow me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, we can't wait. September 19th. Hopefully not the last appearance for Rhyno and CTWE. So everybody come out. Great seats are still available. And he's not going to chant gore, gore, gore. He said it. So.
Well, not here.
Okay. All right.
But at the show. So.
Okay.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for your time.
All right. Joining us right now on another wrestling podcast is none other than Nick D'Angelo. Now, Nick is taking CTWE back and bringing it out for everybody here. It's rising like a phoenix. So we want to talk to Nick. We want to get the lowdown about everything that's coming CTWE. So, Nick, thanks so much for joining us today. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I'm thrilled to be on the show, Jonathan.
Awesome. Now, we mentioned it. CTWE, it used to be a mainstay here in Connecticut. Why did it go away, and why are you bringing it back?
Well, that could be a complicated question, but I'm going to boil it down to something real easy. It went away because, many fans know Joey Bricco owned it back during its original run. And he was moving down south and just kind of closed it up for personal reasons. So, it was gone there, and the wrestling business in Connecticut kept on moving. But throughout that time that CTWE was not there, I kept seeing on social media, on forums, people, CTWE was very popular, and I worked in CTWE for, a couple of years as their commentator, and I did interviews and various different jobs for CTWE. And I don't know, I just kept seeing this sentiment online, for lack of a better word, that people missed it. People wanted it back. People associated it with good memories and good times, and it just seemed to me like, well, why not bring it back?
Well, that's awesome. And for those of you who don't really know, CTWE has been a mainstay in the New England area, I'll say, and such stars as Daniel Bryan has been there. The now Sasha Banks has been there. But you have an amazing lineup going into this show, September 19th in Stratford, Connecticut. It is The Force Awakens. Can you tell us about some of the talent that you have coming for this show?
Absolutely. We got I'm sort of having trouble not being a fan of this show. I'm so looking forward to some of the matches. But I know Antonio Thomas with Marshall McNeil is going to take on NXT superstar Rhyno in our main event. That one's going to be absolutely killer. We have now 9. It was originally an 8-man tournament. It's now a 9-man tournament, and we're going to be seeing the first round matches. The tournament will determine the new CTWE heavyweight champion. The tournament matches are JT Dunn versus Johnny Gargano, which, in my opinion, is going to be worth the price of admission alone. And you got AJ Cruz versus fitness guru Joey Brico. You got Brian Fury, Slick Wagner Brown, which is, those two guys have been a favorite in CTWE and all over New England for years, of course. And Royalty William King, who was originally scheduled to take on Christian Frost, but Christian Frost is retired. And once he retired, Billy King kind of demanded a bye in the tournament. So we decided to punish him with a triple threat match in the first round of the tournament against Shane Strickland and Tomahawk. Many fans will know Shane Strickland as Kill Shot in Lucha Underground.
All right.
So we're very excited about that one now. And there's other great matches too. I mean, I think a potential show stealer absolutely is we have a 5-on-5 tag team match between Team Pazuzu and Anthony Stone, the Scumbag Nation, and Team Tremendous. So we got there's just an absolute tour de force of talent in that one. They're going to tear the house down. I have no doubt about it.
Now, I have a question. It seems like when you just said that there is the starting of a tournament for the CTWE Heavyweight Championship, this isn't going to just be a one-show thing. Is CTWE back for good now?
My friend, this was not a one-shot to steal a bunch of fans, to cash in on everybody's nostalgia and take a bunch of money and run. CTWE is back. We're here for the long haul. I can't give away full details, but I can tell you, I can give you a couple little teasers. We already have another show planned. We have a venue booked. We have a main event. We have the next couple tournament matches. We have a big return planned. We have a huge name. That show will be sometime in November. We will announce the date and all the details at the September 19th show. But we are running on all cylinders. This is not a one and done. CTWE is back. We're in Connecticut. We're going to stay in Connecticut, and we're just going to do what we do.
Well, that's amazing. Just so we're still talking about this, getting that out there, for people that are listening right now, we're talking about CTWE coming back full force, Stratford, Connecticut, at the Baldwin Center. Now, the show's going to start at 7 p.m. A lot of these shows in the area, they have the pre-show, the meet and greet, and all that stuff. Is that happening as well, or are we just talking the wrestling match?
For this show, there's no kind of pre-show or anything like that planned at the moment. Now I would suggest there may be a couple surprises or two in store in between now and September 19th. So I would suggest fans keep their eye on our Facebook page. But as of now, there's nothing like that planned. There will be, I would suggest, a meet and greet at intermission and various things of that nature, but nothing planned before the show.
Okay. Now, you just mentioned Facebook. For all of you that are listening to us right now, you're definitely going to have to get on. And is it just CTWE Pro Wrestling?
Yeah, CTWE Pro Wrestling on Facebook. We're on there. We're since announcing the return of this show. I mean, we've gotten almost we're edging up close to almost 1,000 new followers since we announced the new show. So word's getting out fast. It's been pretty crazy. I think people are very excited to see us coming back. Tickets are doing well. I would suggest people get their tickets ahead of time. We're not anticipating having any left at the door. The interest has been very high for this show and for the return of CTWE. And tickets can be purchased right now at our official website, ctwepro.com, or at Ken's Cards and Collectibles for you Connecticut wrestling fans. I'm sure you know where that is, in Berlin, Connecticut, 27 Mill Street.
That's great. It's a great place. You know, we have been there several times, and Ken's Cards and Collectibles is a really cool place. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We already have this huge, main event. We've got Rhyno, we've got Joey Bricko, we've got Johnny Gargano, JT Dunn, Slick Wagner Brown. If you mentioned that there's going to be more of these, who is the one person that you really want to get on a CTWE show?
Oh wow, that's interesting. You mean wrestlers or like workers? Are you talking about just
any wrestler that's out on the circuit today? I mean, obviously, we're not going to say Randy Orton, but if you could get somebody who is an independent wrestler that is currently making his rounds, who would you like to have on a CTWE show?
Well, do I have to pick one, or can I give you a couple?
Oh, give me a couple.
Okay. Well, I for one, we just for a variety of reasons, we've not been able to come to terms on a deal with 203's finest Lucas Sharp, but I would love to see him back at CTWE. He was always a favorite.
Okay.
As far as other new guys that haven't wrestled in CTWE that I would love to bring in, I would love to see Johnny Mundo or John Morrison. For those who know him in WWE, I'd love to see him wrestle at our show. I'd love to get some big legends or Hall of Famers to make the rounds. In fact, I think we have a couple lined up, so I'm going to kind of keep a lid on that. Yeah, I'd love to see some of them. We're constantly looking at bringing in, there's a lot of CTWE favorites on this show, like people who were with us for the original run. But we're always looking for new people. This is Scumbag Nation's first time in CTWE. Team Pazuzu, a lot of those guys, it's their first time in CTWE. We're absolutely thrilled to have them. We're keeping a close eye on a lot of the big promotions in the Northeast, seeing who's hot. I'm a big fan of Beyond Wrestling. I think they put out a hell of a product. So I wouldn't be surprised if some people who work with Beyond show up in CTWE sooner or later.
All right. Now, you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. There's a nostalgic feel about CTWE. It was really kind of Connecticut's independent promotion. A lot of people came out and really took ownership of it. And there were even a set of CTWE trading cards.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any chance that we're going to see any of this stuff with the promotion of this new CTWE?
Yeah, man. We're gonna, like I said, we're going all out. The philosophy of CTWE, honestly, just our philosophy. Those of us who work there and who are kind of management. Our philosophy is if we're having fun, and the fans are going to have fun, and so we're not quote unquote money marks. We're not we love wrestling. We have fun. Our fans love wrestling, so that's our whole goal. I would love to see the return of the trading cards. Hell, I mean, this is completely ludicrous, but I won't stop until there are CTWE ice cream bars.
Well, you've already got a buyer, so whenever they come out, I'll buy a dozen. So CTWE, it's coming back. We mentioned that you're on Facebook. Are you on any other forms of social media at the moment?
Yes, we are on social media. We have our Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Our Twitter handle is CTWE Live, and we're very active on Twitter and Instagram as well. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course the YouTube page. One of the biggest things that I was most proud of working as a commentator for CTWE was we had an absolutely awesome YouTube presence for the last couple of years of CTWE's run. And we intend to continue with high-quality video production, getting the matches out there quickly. So we are on there on YouTube as CTWE Official. All the old videos are still up. And, the goal is to bring exciting new talent while also kind of preserving what people loved about CTWE. And for those who follow us on our YouTube page, it's going to be as if we never left. It's just, we had the closed out at the 5-year anniversary show, and then The Force Awakens on September 19th, and that'll be up on YouTube shortly after the show. And we intend to keep up the production value on there and post the videos. And, we noticed a direct correlation to interest in the show based on what we were doing with our YouTube page. So, if we had a particularly killer show, and I think there were like 1 or 2 shows where we didn't have, we didn't put it up on YouTube, and then the next 2 shows attendance dropped a little bit, and so we're very committed to putting out a good YouTube product that's important to our fans. So you can definitely catch us on there, and I would hope our fans would check us out there. There's going to be all kinds of exclusive footage, interviews, hype videos, backstage segments. That's a big part of the CTWE experience for me.
Now, you mentioned the YouTube and all of that. We talked about trading cards. Will these be put out on DVD after the show's been over for a while?
Possibly. I know under Joey's ownership we phased out of DVDs. It would have to be ruled a viable business option, but I'm open to it. If the fans want DVDs, we'll give them DVDs.
All right. Now, we haven't really got into this yet. On the first show, and I'm looking at the website, it looks great. I don't see any women's matches right now. Is there a chance that we'll get one of those, or will that be later on in the other shows that you have?
There are no women's matches specifically booked on September 19th. We do have Helen Vale will be in the corner of Brandon Webb when he takes on Sean Burke, which should be a terrific match. However, I can promise you that there will be at least one women's match in our November show, possibly more. So,
all right.
We CTWE is planning on. There's no question. Anyone who's a fan knows that the popularity of women's wrestling is growing, especially in the indies right now. So, we intend to, give the fans what they want. We've been getting a lot more inquiries about women's wrestling, so we're going to give you women's wrestling.
All right. So, just so we can recap once again, September 19th, if you are in the New England area, I don't care if you're in the Midwest, the Southeast, the Pacific Northwest, come on out to Stratford, Connecticut. You mentioned that the tickets are on sale now, but they are and will be going fast. We mentioned Rhyno is going to be there, Johnny Gargano, JT Dunn. I can't stress enough, we will be in the house, another wrestling podcast. I'm pretty sure that this may be only our second show, but our first with the Phoenix that is CTWE. So if there's anybody that has any questions or anything like that, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you guys?
They can either message us on the Facebook page, or they can email me personally. I depending on the nature of the inquiry, I may or may not respond to every single email I get, but you can email me at nickdangelo.ctwe@gmail.com. I at least read everything. Whether or not I respond depends on, what it is you're asking me. You can reach me at my email there, or you can message the page, and we will certainly, we read everything we get. So if you have a question that you need answered, we'd be happy to answer any questions you have about tickets or the venue. The venue's in a hell of a location. It's right off I-95, and it's like less than half a mile from the Metro North train station. So there's a million ways to get there. It's a real prime venue. I don't know if you've ever been to a show there. There have been a few shows there in the past, but we're very excited about the Baldwin Center.
Well, that's my next question for you guys. Obviously, that you have been looking and scoping out different arenas. Is CTWE, is it safe to say, obviously they're going to be in Connecticut, but are you looking outside of Connecticut to do any shows right now, or just mainly staying in Connecticut?
As of right now, we're just focusing on our return to Connecticut and just, showing our fans, our core fan base here in Connecticut, that we are back. And I would suggest that once this return proves successful and people are aware that CTWE is back and back to stay, I would love to venture out into other states as well, without disrespecting some of our neighbors and friends.
All right. Well, we want to thank you so much for coming on today and, talking to us about the return of CTWE. We're looking forward to having you back on the show anytime that you guys want. We're also looking forward to the show. And if you're listening to this right now, CTWE, September 19th, and obviously we've got some more shows coming up in November and in the future. So thank you so much, Mr. Nick D'Angelo. And
oh, hell yeah, John. Thanks for having me. I had a great time. I love you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and we will be talking soon for sure.
Great, man. Take it easy.